How much time of your lives do you spend in buildings? Any idea? We like outdoors, right? 50%? 60%? We spend 90% of our time, a lifetime, in buildings. That's a lot, isn't it? So let's do a quick check, okay? Is that feasible? Most of us are born in a building, a hospital or at home. We are raised and educated in buildings. We sleep, we eat, we spend time with our loved ones under one roof. We go to school, to college, university. We work, we collaborate, we develop, we prosper in a professional career in buildings. And when we retire, we spend a lot of time with our families, with activities, and mostly in buildings. So, sounds feasible, right? Now imagine that you can go into a building and the building knows what you like. The building knows what means comfortable to you, what means being safe and secure, what means trust, what energizes you. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Imagine a building that takes that information into account and knows how to manage all the different systems in that building in an optimal way. Electricity, water, gas, all these scarce resources, knows how to manage that in an optimal way. And imagine that that building also knows how to deal with information outside of the building. Can be weather, can be about mobility, can be about smart grid, electricity, demand and supply. Wouldn't that be fantastic? So 90% of our time we spend in buildings. That means that buildings are quite the heart for us as a person, for our society, for our communities. Around about 3 years ago, before the pandemic, I was visiting a professional acquaintance in Paris. I went there by train, the TGV, everything went fine. Then I came into the building where I was supposed to be, and it started with, can you please fill in these registration forms? My God. Pen and paper, took me 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. Finally, I got into the building. I was asked to go to the second floor. I come to the second floor, full of meeting rooms. Completely illogical numbering. It took me quite a lot of time to find the right meeting room. When I finally got to the right meeting room, and I saw my colleagues say, okay, I'm there. The door was wide open, but also the window. So they opened the window in order to let some fresh air in. But remember, it was December, and the heating was at its maximum. Now the meeting went very well. And on my way home in the train, I was reflecting on this situation. And I thought to myself, is this the world of today? Is this the 21st century? My name is Frederik De Meyer. I'm heading digital buildings for Siemens, and I am personally convinced that all of us, we need to act. We need to act because, first of all, we spend a lot of time in buildings, and I think we need to think how we can transform buildings to make it a lot more attractive and appealing for all of us. But at the same time, we need to take care of our scarce resources on this planet because we are wasting so much. Now, after this experience in Paris, I said, is this only me? Is this only this building? So I started digging. Research has shown that 50% of sick leaves are due to bad ventilation in buildings. That's a lot. On top of that, 75% of buildings, commercial buildings, are energy inefficient. And I can tell you from my professional experience, in a lot of buildings, we're doing heating and cooling at the same time. Great. And last but not least, 40% of energy worldwide is consumed in buildings. So this means this is not one problem. This is a big problem. And it concerns all of us. Now, what do we need to do? My proposal is, let's talk about smart buildings. Now, I know there's a lot of fuss in the net and social media about smart buildings, right? We have smart thermostats and smart meters, and then smart coffee machines and smart washing machines, so everything is smart, right? But what is a smart building? I'll give you my definition. A smart building is, for me, a building that holistically takes into account 3 topics. Topic number 1, it takes into account how we want to feel as a user in the building. It takes into account our comfort level, our safety and security level, how we want the lighting to be, how we want the oxygen to be, in order to feel trustworthy, to feel at ease, and to feel energized, because this is what we want to be. Second dimension, it is a building that takes into account the optimal energy usage based on what the users of the building want. So it optimally manages electricity, water, gas, depending on what we want it to be. And third, it is a building that takes into account its external resources, this external information, like weather data, mobility data, smart grid data, and so on. Because this needs to be optimized according to the first 2 dimensions. This is, in my definition, a smart building. Now, this probably sounds like science fiction, right, to most of you. If you look at this picture, but no. It is not science fiction. We can do this today. And we are doing this today. When we're making new buildings, there's a lot of these topics that go into the definition of this new building. However, if we know that the typical lifetime of a building is between 20 and 120 years, and we just start applying these concepts right now, oh great, we will have an impact in 300 years. This is not what we want. We want to act now. So that means we need to apply the same principles on existing buildings. And we can. Many of us are now in a hybrid working model. So that means we spend some time at home, and we spend probably also some time in the office with colleagues at work. Now, when I personally go into the office, and I come into the building, I have this device or an access control card that allows me to go into that building. Well, as soon as I go into that building, they know who I am, what kind of access rights do I have, and what kind of schedule I have during the day. So what I would expect from that building to exactly bring me to the right floor where I have the next meeting. For me personally, I have access to the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th floor, except for the areas, the stock for the cleaning personnel, right? And, of course, the cybersecurity area. So when I go to the elevator, I would expect the elevator to take me to the right floor and guides me to the right meeting room. When I come to the meeting room, I expect the building to have that prepared, have the right temperature, have the right oxygen level, have the right light. Me personally, I like to have it 22 degrees, a lot of light, and a lot of oxygen. When I'm in the US, I always have issues. Dark rooms, very cold, and I don't feel energized to go into that meeting. After the meeting, I would like to go to an open office space. And depending on what I want to do, I expect the building to tell me, this is the right area for you. When I want to collaborate, when I want to discuss with different colleagues, I go to a certain area. However, if I want to stay focused and I want to be left alone in order to do work, I want to go to another area. This is what I expect from a building of tomorrow. Now, smart buildings is something that we need to create as soon as possible. And the topic that I wanted to bring and share with all of you today is technology with a purpose. We love to talk about technology. However, if I look at our situation today, on how much time we spend in buildings, up to 90%, how inefficient all the buildings are being dealt with, and third, how scarce our resources are on this planet, I am personally convinced that technology with a purpose can lead to smart buildings in a smart planet. Thank you.